Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world away and I couldn't hide this one from you today. We're going to be doing the last box of Pack 12 of Build the G1 Optimus Prime. And what a big box it is. It's actually so big a box that normally, put that down there, we were getting 3 trays per box. Well, as you can see today, we've got 4 trays. There's a lot to do. There's a hell of a lot to do. In fact, there's so much to do that the instructions have split them down into 4 separate instructions. One to actually build Optimus, which you can see standing behind me here. Then one to build the Matrix, one to build the Blaster, and one to build the Axe. So look, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to split the videos up. So today we're going to finish Optimus Prime. And then when the stand comes, which I believe will be like a box 13, I'm actually going to do the other 3 things then. So I'll batch that into a video as well. So today I'm only going to be doing Optimus Prime. Now the good thing is 1/3 of the Sprueverse challenge has already done this. Lou Dalmaso, if you haven't checked his video out, check it out on the channel. He's pre-warned me about some issues with magnets, which I don't think I'm going to have, because if you're to do Optimus Prime first, I think it's only magnets anyway we deal with. We don't deal with blankers, but if you want to know the issues that Lou had, then check out Aztec Dummy YouTube channel. But if you do want to get this for yourself, and I'll tell you now, this is probably one of my favorite builds on the channel. I have put a link in the video description, and there's also a QR code on the screen. But this will be the last time until we get the base that you'll see Optimus Prime. We're going to finish him today. So without further ado, let's get cracking. And let me just show you these trays. So this one's got all the things for the Axe and the Matrix in there. So I don't think I'm going to need that one at the moment. This is tray 1. We do need some parts from that. And I think it was this one that was tray 2 that you see I've already opened. And the reason I've already opened that is because I've already pulled out every single screw that we're going to need for this build. And the first things I'm going to need are these metal things from the tray here. And then if you look underneath these black sections here, you'll notice we've got these as well. I need those. Now when we put them in, if you just check this, one side's got flat corners, one side's got curved corners. It's the flat corners that I want to put together. So when I put these in, we're going to be putting 2 in like this. And I'm going to be putting the other side together just like that. So that's how that looks. I then need this part here. And this is going to be going into the front section of this. Now it is shaped. I don't know if you can see the shape there, probably got on the top camera. So you want to match the shape of that side part to the shape of this part here. So that sits in just like that. Bringing over tray 1 again, I want these 2 parts here. And I want to put the base of this into here like this. That fits perfectly. The top section is going to fit over the top of that. And then it's all going to be held in with a 2.3 by 6mm screw. Now, there's 2 bags of these. So let's just open one of them. And I'm going to be securing that in down the top here. Back to tray 1 here. I now need the top section, looking like that. And I'm going to be putting the last of these rods here over these edges like that. Now, the way this is going to go is that this side is going to press onto that, so the other side of these rods go in here. But what I do want to do is just put a bit of glue on these lugs here. Not too much, just enough that I know that's going to stick in, and push them together. So as you can see, they roll in that way and these middle ones roll that way. That's all good. Put that to one side. Back to the tray. 3 parts now I need. This is tray 1. That part there. Get me tweezers. This one here. And this one here. So first off, these pipes here are going to go into the 2 holes that we got here. Again, I am just going to put a tiny bit of glue on this side. And that's going to hold that into place. This section, possibly best on the top camera, then fits on top of this section here. Once again, it's held in with these black 2.3 by 6mm screws. Basically, this is components for the back, they're calling this. So we're making the back. So that's complete. All I'm going to do then is bring over what we created. I'm going to marry these two parts together. So you can see the holes on here. That's just going to go in like this. Slotting in this here to the gap there. And again, holding these in with a black 2.3 by 6mm screws. Looking good. Okay, put that to one side. Tray 1 again. I now need these two parts here. And these are going to require glue as well. So I've got number 2 here. It is stamped with a number 2 just on the side. I'm going to push that into the slot here. And I'm going to do the same with number 1. This time the number 1's going to face the inside. There we go. That's him. Now this whole thing is going to be called Assembly 1. So I can put that to one side. Now I want to bring over the battery pack that we had from pack 1. Now in here we've got AA batteries. In the instructions I'm very much aware that they're saying they're AAA. They're not, they're AA batteries. And what I need to do is bring over tray 2 now. And it's this part that I'm going to need. Look, we've got some stickers in here. I'm going to need them later on to label the electrics up. So what I'm going to do is take the battery box, put the lead through the hole at the bottom here, and make sure that's seated into this cavity. Now again, in tray 2, if we open this section here, you can see we've got a switch. Need that now. Now in the instructions, it looks like there's 2 plugs coming from this. No, there's only one. What we're going to do is put this inside the battery box. Now this is already pre-put into the off position. You can tell that because the switch is towards the pole that hasn't got a wire on. So when we put it in, just make sure that it's on the off position now. Now I'm going to secure this in with some PB 2x4mm screws. They are black screws in this bag here. And when you've secured that into place, just ensure the switch is freely able to move. Just put that to one side. I've got tray 1 again here. I'm going to need one of these parts here. Let me guess which one it is. I think it's this one actually. And then bringing over tray 2, I'm going to need one of these parts. Now I need the one that's labelled 2 at the bottom. So, oh, look at that. That was lucky. I also need one of these grills. Now, the grill has already got a stamp on it as well. It says number 2. And that's just going to go over the 2 lugs that we've got here. One here and one here. Now, in the instructions, it is saying to just touch a tiny bit of glue on those. And push this detail into place. It is a tight fit on there anyway. Again, number 2 stamped on here. This is just going to go on here. Like that. Held in once again with a black 2.3 by 6mm screws. So that's now looking like that. We're going to do the same with the number 1 pieces. And I've got them here. Let's do exactly the same thing. Glue on these lugs. Push this into place. Put this side over the top. And secure with the black 2.3 by 6mm screws. Now we're going to be bringing our first set of magnets over, which are in a bag like this. Now both of these are magnets. And they're going to be secured into these recesses here. So I need to glue these into place. And I am doing this on both sides. So let's put some glue in this one as well. And it doesn't matter about the orientation of these magnets. So just drop them in. 1 and 2. So now this one, which is number 2, is A. The one that's number 1 is B. So bringing the battery box over, we're just going to follow the shape of these by putting this over the top just here. So one's going on this side. And again, it's held in by 4 2.3 by 6mm screws. So we've got 2 this side. And then put the other side on. And again, 2 screws on this side. Now, back to tray 2, I need this piece here. Now, this piece are going to have these metal blanks in here. This is what the magnets are going to stick to. And because they are just metal blanks, it doesn't matter, again, orientation. I'm going to be putting some glue there. And putting one on this edge. Like that. And doing the same on the other side. So these blanks are going to attach to the magnets that we just put into this side here. Now what will happen is this will go over the top of that. I'm not going to do it yet. I'm going to give these a chance to dry, but I'll show you that later on. Once that's on there, that's assembly 2. Now you're going to love this. I'm going to take these 2 parts out here from tray 1, and something we haven't seen for a long while, Optimus Prime's head, because we're about to mount the head to the neck. Now all of these wires, if you look on the top camera, are still under the hooks there. What I want to do is take this side here, and again probably on the top camera, line this up so the center hole fits in just like that. This time it's held in with a 2x6mm screw PB, looking like that. Get that screwed in nice and tight. All I'm going to do then is take the back of the neck, and I'm going to be pushing these together. Now they're not asking me to glue these. I don't want to pinch any of these wires. So I want to make sure that the wires are either side here, as a matter of fact. Now as long as your wires are in those hooks there, if I just fold them back, when we piece this part together, we're not going to glue this, it just pushes in like that. But to hold it in, you see we've got a hole at the bottom there. Once again, I'm going to be putting one of the 2x6mm PB screws in. And you can see how the wires there are coming out the bottom. I can now put that to one side. Now this tray here is tray 4. I want the speaker. I also need, underneath this section here, this round black section. And again, on tray 1, I need this back plate and this front plate here. So in the base, I want to take the adhesive off this foam round section, and this is just going to buffer the speaker so it doesn't vibrate too much when it's in here. Let me take the wire tidy off here. I'm going to be putting the speaker in place. I want the wire to come out through the hole here, like that. It doesn't really matter about the orientation of it because it's going to be held into place when I put the top on here, like this, as you can see. And there's the wire coming out. It's going to be held together with the black 2.3x6mm screws. This seems to be like the go-to screw, on this build. So 4 of these on each corner. Once again, in tray 4 here, we do have a little bracket which I'm just looking for. This one here. Now this is going to be going into the top of this section just like that. You can see we've got a space for a nut. Nuts free, all comes in a bag. And that's going to go in there. I need 1 PM 3x10. And these are the hex screws. But I also need one of these crimped washers here, which are numbers 161. I want to hold the nut in place, put this in on this side, and I have charged my wow stick up. What I didn't do was put the correct size bit in it. But there we go. So get that screwed in. Nice and tight. So there we go, the bracket's on that. Now, in this tray here, was this tray 1? I think it was. Underneath this section, we've got 3 of these small little joint sections here. So what I want to do is just take one of these and push it this way through here. So it actually goes into this section here. Does need to fit quite far in there. I want to take another one of these and bring over Optimus Prime's head. And in the same way, I want to push one of these into this section at the bottom. It is shaped, so it can only go in one way. So I'm now going to mount Optimus Prime to the speaker. So what I want to do is I want to put these wires through each of the holes here. Now, because we haven't got to the stage where we're wiring up the cables yet, I'm just going to put this little bit of yellow masking tape on there to remind me that that is the speaker cable. But let's get these down here. And once again, in the matrix one here, we've got these brackets here, 1 and 2. And this is probably going to be best on the top camera, but where we've got the blade side of those joints here, I want to put the blade-sided bracket over the top of them. So I'm going to get one in on one side, like that. Then I can push the head into the other side. And what I'm doing is I'm ensuring that the wire isn't pinched into that section. That's one side on there. Got to do the same on the other side, and then this screw is going to hold both of these together. That's not an easy thing to do, that's for sure. But there we go, it's going together now. And there we go, that's in place. So now we have got articulation on this section, as you can see there, and none of the wires are pinched. So that's good. Just going to put that to one side while I get another two parts. And I believe these are in tray 2. They are. They're basically these sections here. They are labelled 1 and 2. I want number 2 to go on this side, just over these lugs here like that. Again, these are held in with the 2.3 by 6mm screws. Optimus head does want to get in the way by doing this. But as you see, I can pull it all the way down, which will enable me to make these screws nice and tight. And in a similar way, I'm just going to be putting number 1 on this side, like this. A couple of parts from tray 1 now. I need this one here. And I also need the back section, which looks like this. Now, the front section here is just going to go on top of the 2 lugs here, like that. And in a similar way, the back section is going to go on, just doing a dry fit here, on like this here. It's all held in with 2.3 by 6mm screws. So we'll just get the front section on first. There's going to be 6 screws in total here. That's the front one on. Just do the same on the back. I can put this whole thing to one side. We've got a massive section now, which is this big section just here, all metal. And basically what we created here, which was assembly 1, is just going to go these 2 lugs just at the front there like that, held in from the other side once again with the 2.3 by 6mm screws. So once I've got one in, it won't get so fiddly to try and put these in. That's one. Let's do one on the other side. I want to bring over the battery box now, which should have dried, so I'll show you how this clips in, just like that. As you see, the magnets are keeping that into place. I'm going to want to put the wires through the holes. So the big wire at the top's going through the big hole, and the power wire is going through the small hole there. Just like this. And I'm lining this up so that the 4 lugs you can see there are going to go into the 4 holes there. So that is looking pretty good in there, like that. Held in with 4 screws from the other side. You guessed it, it's the 2.3 by 6mm screws into these 4 holes. And there you go, that's the last screw going in. So now the battery box here is on top of the back section of Optimus. Again, in this tray here, I now need these 2 parts. And they're just going to go into each of the holes that we've got here. You can see the lugs just at the bottom of these, and this side over here. But this time, they're going to be held in with different screws. These are PWM 2 by 6mm screws. These are silver screws, and they look like this. So it's basically 3 screws each side. I'll just get all of these in. And there you go, they're in place. In tray 1, if I just bring that over, I now need these little sections and a bit of glue just around the lug here. I'm going to put some either side of it as well. And I'm going to be pushing these little details into place. So one here. They're a very tight fit. You know what? You're probably not going to need to glue this. But they're in place like that. So we can put that to one side because we're now going to be starting to assemble the inner matrix of the chest. And most of those parts are going to be in here. So what I need, let's figure this out. I'm going to need these 2 bits here. I'm going to need this section here. I'm going to need this extension lead here. I also need to bring over this massive axe because I do want a little circuit board here which looks just like that. So what I'm going to do is take this little circuit board with a plug on, just drop that down the top here like this. Now there is a light on the other side of that. I want some 2.3 by 6mm screws. These are our usual black ones. And screw this circuit board into place on this section here. And then just plug this lead into the back, making sure the polarity is right. There you go. I then have the little crystal lens here. And in the tray with the axe, you'll see I've got a diffuser here. Let's get that one out. Basically, I'm going to be putting the lugs at the bottom of this into the holes here. They are going to line everything up for us, like that. And then I've got the crystal over the top, which just goes into the 2 holes in that diffuser, like that. Now, these are going to be needed to glue into place. That's the diffuser in place, and then just some glue on the crystals. Let that dry. Bringing up this tray. We're working through it, aren't we? I'm going to need all of these parts here. So, now I've got these parts. These are going to be going on here. So the lugs on this side are going to go in there like that. And it's going to be the same on the other side here. And then I'm going to be putting the tops on. Now, again, as I said, I watched Lou Dalmaso's video beforehand, and he actually put glue around the edge. I think that's going to be the best thing to hold this in. I mean, the lugs will hold them in a certain place, but if I was to put glue all around the edge here like I'm doing, I'm going to get a much tougher bond on each side. And hopefully it will make that seam a little bit better as well. So, let's get this side in here. And push its partner on the other side. And I'm just going to hold that into place for a second. And just do the same on the other side here. So the 2 that are narrower together should have these tops on, and the 2 joints down the bottom should look like that. But that's that in place. While I'm continuing to play with this, I'm going to clamp it up a little bit to help me out. You can never have too many clamps. There you go, look at that. Okay, going to be putting the back on now. And these 2 look very similar, but the one I want is the one with the blades, not the one with the lugs. The one with the blades here. That's just going to go down here. It is going to need some glue, but I just want to see how it fits. I am aware I've got these clamps in, but it's going to go in kind of like that. So I'm just going to let that dry, and then I'll remove the clamps and put this into place. And when I say remove the clamps, what I mean is I'm just going to move them down. So, putting some glue just on this bladed section here. The same on the other side. And I want it going in so that the smaller end here, see it's thicker at the bottom, the smaller end's facing the top of this section here. So again, put the wire through and make sure that slots into place like that. And I'm going to be putting the front on now. Again, the front has got lugs, so I'm going to put some glue just on these. And again, there is a certain way it goes on, with the smaller section at the top, larger section at the bottom. So I'm just going to hold that into place. Again, bringing up this tray, I want these 2 sections here. And you see the detailing on this? I want that to be in the same direction as the top of this matrix. So I'm going to glue this into place. Just putting some glue just onto this center lug. Get one in this side, just like that. And just do the same on this side. Again, as you can probably see on the top camera, the detail towards this top section here. Just going to put this to one side while I find a couple more details. These are hiding away in this tray here. They're these little silver caps here. It's being a little bit stubborn, so I'm going to put these clamps on each side here just to ensure that's pressed together like that. In fact, I've just got to move the one at the top just slightly over because the things that I just got out are going to go into the slots that you can see just at the top there. And they should sit flush on there just like that. So there's one in the top, and there's just one to put in at the bottom here. Let's move this around. Bit of glue in that lug. And it goes in with the thin side of the triangle pointing towards the top. And then you can ensure that's going to fit flush like that. Again, I want the magnets. All of these on here are magnets. The only things that aren't magnets, which can get confusing, is in here, these are blank bits of metal. These aren't magnets at all. But these are. I want the magnets at the moment. I need 2 of them. Remove the clamps now. I don't need them. Put some glue just into the holes at the back here because these are going to house those magnets. And again, it doesn't matter about the orientation of them as long as they go in. So one there. And then what I advise you to do, because it just happened to me, is put a little bit of masking tape over that magnet. Then put the other magnet in with your finger over the top of that. And put some masking tape over that as well. Otherwise, what will happen is both those magnets are going to try to attract each other and ping off out to the other side of the workshop, which happened to me. That only needs to be kept on until the glue for the magnets have dried. So I'm just going to put that to one side. And now I'm bringing over this massive panel here. And you remember I said we had some blank ones? This is where I need these. These are just bits of metal. These aren't magnets. But I am going to be putting some glue just down the bottom here for these metal blanks to hold in that matrix crystal. So just drop 2 in there. One there. And one there. And I'm just going to let that set, as you can see. I've got some more blanks to put in. So I've got these in this bag here. So glue them in, one there and one there. And just feed them in. And let the glue take care of holding them into place. And now the matrix that we created is going to go into here, but I'm going to do that step afterwards, so I'm going to give that a chance to dry. In the meantime, I'm going to be bringing up this tray, and I need these parts here because we're in the steps now where I can start to attach the windows. So I need these 2 parts here, and if you look in this bag here, I've got some plastic brackets. Let's get these open. And basically they're just going to be fitting over the ends here. So one here and one on the other side, like that. Do the same on the other side. One here and one on the other side. Now again, from this same pack here, I'm now after these sections. Once again, they want me to just apply some glue to the base of these lugs. And that's going to hold the sections I'm about to put in into place. You want to make sure that the detail side of this is facing down. And they are labelled, so whereas this is labelled number 2, this is labelled number 2 as well. So one in that side. And one in that side there. So bringing over this section here and having these metal plates at the bottom here, what I want to do is take the side that's labelled number 2. That's going to be going into these holes just here, like this. And this time it's a different screw. It's going to be 2.6 by 6mm screw, not 2.3, 2.6 this time. So just get these in from the other side here. Matter of fact, with a bigger screw, I can probably use my bigger screwdriver. Yep, PH1 screwdriver all the way. And do the same on the other side. So now these can open and close as you see there. Put that to one side. And bring up the top front frame here, or plate. Now on this section here, we have got these little clear plastic bushes to put on. So I'll slip one on this side and one on the other side. Once they're on, we're going to need this detail, which comes from the same pack, and we also need, if I just put that in where it goes there, on the other side, we have got this detail. And that's sort of going to go on top of this section, with the detail parts you can see there facing that way. So it's going on like that. They're all going to be held in with three 2.3 by 6mm screws. Let's put that centre one in first. That'll hold that into place. So basically, you can see the detailing behind that there, you see. Two more to put in just either side here. Now we haven't got many details left in this tray now. I've got some sticker sheet, and we've just got this black section here, which I need now, and this silver section, which I also need now. So the way this goes, at the back of the silver section we have got a bladed lug which just goes into that point there, like that, which means then that this part is going to be going on this way into the holes like that there. Once again, it's held in from the other side with a 2.3 by 6mm screw. Actually, we need two of these. Again, in the same tray, I've got these hinges which are labelled 1 and 2. Number 1 needs to be going on this side here like this. Just put it over the bush. Now it is going to be quite tricky to get the bush all the way into the plastic, but it will go in eventually, like that. That looks good. Now I still haven't put that matrix in yet, but I will do. I'm going to be putting this into place. These go on top just like this here and here. And this time they're held in with the 2.4 PB screws. So as you can see, that can now go up and down. Perfect. I think I'm now in a position to open all of these panels up. 1, 2, 3, and I will put this matrix of leadership in there. I can take this out now without the magnets falling out. Get the wire, push that through the hole at the back, like that. Make sure I orientate it correctly this way, and those magnets now should click into place. So now that's looking like that. I can now shut these up. Perfect. Looking good. Put that whole thing to one side. Now I haven't got anything else left in this tray apart from these two bits here. So I can make some space, I'm just going to keep these two bits to one side. Because we're now going to be creating the mounts for the arms. So I need these two sections here from tray 1. I also need these joint sections here. We've got 4 of these, but I only need 2 at the moment. So the way they go in is with the bolt side facing down, they're going to go in like this. And it is just a case of getting them into this section here. They are going to be quite a tight fit. Do one at the other side. Again, make sure the bolt is facing down. Now I'm in a position to bring over this arm. I haven't seen this for a long time. Okay. Basically, this is going to be going over the top of this section just like that there. And I need these PM 3x6mm screws. And once again, I'm going to need those crimped washers as well. It's just a case of lining these up and getting these into place. Now, each one takes 4 of these. And there we go. That's that one in just there. Now, in the same tray, we've got these covers to go on for these. They're going to be going on each side of these sections. So one here and one down the bottom. So they're actually clipping in just like that. Now the side with the indent on it needs to be on top. So that's going to go on that side there. And then I'm going to be gluing the bottom here as well. So what I want to do is put lots of glue where these are joining into the lugs here on the top. And then the same on the bottom. And get these in. So one there. And one underneath. And I'm just going to hold them into place. What I'm going to do then is going to take this part here, which is labelled number 2. You can see the number 2 stamp on there. And you can see the hexagonal base on that. It's going to go over that section I've just put in there. Make sure it tight fit in there like that. It'll actually hold itself in, no problems at all. While I've got that, I can just now leave that to one side. And it's been a long time since we've seen these, isn't it? Look at these. What I'm going to do is take these bushes again, and I'm going to be putting these on the hinges here. So one on each one. One there. And one underneath. Excellent. Just do the same on the other side. So I just want to keep the wires out the way of this one for a second, because I'm about to put these into what we're creating on this arm. So this hinge here is going to go into this bottom section just there. Now, because we've got the bush on, it's going to be a tight fit. What I'm also doing is, look at the wires. I'm putting them round the back there, so they're not going to get pinched. And I'll just keep wiggling the door like this. And that's going to get that into position just there. I then need to take the top section of this, which is labelled number 1. And in a similar way, this is going to be going over the nut just here, like this. But I also want to put the hinge of the door into this section just here. So again, I'll make sure that that wire isn't pinched at all in any of this. In fact, what I've done with the wire is actually going round the back of that hinge, if you can see that. I don't know if that's correct. It's looking correct. So I'm just massaging that into place. That looks good. Now I'm trying to figure out what they're actually doing with the wire here. So what I'm going to do is put this side in, and I'm going to have the wire just coming down between the hinge and this bracket there. So when I take this section, which is labelled number 1, that's going to go on top, just like this. And I'm going to massage that into place as well, like this. That wire is not trapped. Okay. Now I'm going to need these 3x10mm screws, one of the crimped washers, and also one of the nuts. As a matter of fact, I actually need 3 of these, but I'm going to get one in first. There we go, nice and tight. One on the other side here, and one just down the centre here. And in the instructions, you can see that's how they've got the wires routed there. Okay? I'll show you on this camera. See, that's open, that's going to be shut. Put that to one side, because we're now going to work on the other arm and do exactly the same thing. And there you go. And when all 3 of those screws are in, it looks like that. The door obviously able to open and close, and I haven't pinched any of the wires, as you can see there. And we've now reached a time in the proceedings where we're going to start putting everything together. So the first thing we need to do is label up all the wires so we know where they're going to go. So the wires in the head, number 4, which I put this little bit of yellow tape on, is the speaker. So I can take that off now, grab a number 4 and put that on the speaker wire. Now out the 2 plugs left, the biggest plug is the mouth. So number 3 is the eyes. I've just noticed on my one that they do have this wire coming out the other hole here. I don't think I'm going to need to. There's enough slack on these. So number 1 is then the mouth. Bring over the matrix, which is here. We've got a cable coming out of that. That's going to be cable number 2. Bring over the battery pack and switch. So the one coming out the bottom is going to have number 12. That's the power, I believe. And the one coming from the switch here is going to be number 11. So on the left arm here now, the 2 wires here are going to be labelled 7 and 8. Doesn't really matter which one's what, they're just having the headlights, these are. Put that to one side. On the other side here, I've got 9 and 10. And they haven't asked me to do it yet, but the last two stickers we got for the two wires coming from the lights down the bottom here, they're going to be 5 and 6. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm bringing over the right arm. And look at this massive section that we've got from tray 2. We're going to be putting this into place. So it's basically going to be going, if I just straighten his arm out there, underneath onto this section here. It's going this way round, so the small hole is towards the window and it's going to fit over the top just like that. It's held in with 2.6 by 8mm screws. And it's going to take 4 of these screws to attach that into place. So I'll get all 4 of these screws in. Okay, this is going to be going into the top here as well. Held in again, I can straighten his arm out now, with the 8mm screws, 2.6 by 8mm. Now I need to turn this over, and I am going to now put down my Partwork Upgrades mat, because I don't want to crush these front windows too much. There we go. That's cool, because I need to put the back on now. And that's just going to be going on the top here. You see these 2 holes here? They're going to fit underneath here and here. Now once again, I need PM 3 times 6mm screws to hold this in. So 1 on this side. It should go over the lip at the bottom as well, so that's in perfectly square. Now I've just turned it this way round, because I've got these PWM 2 by 6mm silver screws to put in. And we've basically got 2 on the outside here and 2 on the inside. Now I've got 2 of these sections which come from the same tray that we had before. These are just going to be going over these points here. So 1 this side, like that, and 1 the other side over here. That's held in by 2.6, other way around, 2.6 by 8mm screws. Now already this is a big bulky section, but I can just put this to one side for a second. Now I'm going to open this tray, haven't done that yet, because I need these 2 sections here, 1 and 2, and I also need these grill sections. Now this is pretty much the last stages I'm going to be doing before I'm going to need to change cameras, because we're going to be then working on the massive Optimus Prime. So these is held in by 2 times 4mm screws, get these in. And they're going to go into place on the bottom here, just into here like this. Mounted to this top section that we just put in here. There you go. And they're held in with 2.3 by 6mm screws. And I'm just going to do the same on the other side. And as you can see, they're in place. So I'm going to have a little break here, a little intermission I think I called it. Go and get yourself a coffee, because what I've got to do is just clear this up, ready to actually put some camera work in here so we can start assembling the final stages. Okay, I can see the rest of this now being done on my phone camera. So basically we're going to be putting what we just created on here. It does mean I've got to feed these wires up through the arm section. I'm going to do that now. So this is the arm section going on here. I'm just going to put the cables up through this center section. Just like that. Pull them through. And then drop this whole section. I'm going to have to move his arms out the way, stand by, onto the top here. And that's fit perfectly in there, just like that. So this is held in with 6 2.3 by 8mm screws. I'm going to get them in here now. So 3 down that side, 3 down that side, they're all in. Now I'm going to take Optimus Prime's head, moving these wires down, and this is going to be fitting on the brackets just here. So making sure I'm not pinching any wires. Get that to sit in there. Now there's 2 screws to put in at the back in the red metal here, and then we've got 4 into this section just here. Now what I'm going to do is put the screws in, and then we'll scroll around and have a look at that. Now at the back here, I've got 2 screws to put in, 2.3 by 6mm screws just into the holes here. And in the 2 holes that we've got down the side here, they're 2.6 by 6mm screws. Now I can go back to the normal cameras because we're going to assemble the circuit board. So let me get this open. So this is what the circuit board looks like. Basically, this is going to be going into here. So the one with the plugs on the long side is going to go in there. So it's going to look, once I've got this mounted into the position it needs to be, you've got that side, that side. I'm holding these in with 2.3 by 6mm screws again. And then using exactly the same screws, I've just got the face plate to put on the back, just like that. And again, 4 screws to keep that into place. So what we have here is literally the heart of Optimus Prime. And you can see all of these ports have got numbers on. And that's what we're going to be connecting up now. So all I'm going to do is take in the circuit board like this. I'm going to connect all the like numbers to where they're going on the control board. So when that's done, it should look like this. Now the vacant port there is port 2, which is going to be for the matrix, which I'm about to put in. You will see that here, I did have to extend this wire out. It wasn't long enough, so I just spliced some wire into there for that door. But all of these wires are going to get hidden now because I'm about to put the matrix into place. So it's going to go in this way, and what I'm going to do is just plug this plug in first. And then just feed all these wires in so there's no wires crimping. And then that's going to be able to fit on just like that. Now it's held in with 2.3 by 6mm screws again. Making sure I haven't pinched any wires. And it's going to take 4. So 2 here and 2 here. So I'm now at a stage where I get to put this big metal section on. You want to put it on sideways like this just to get it over his head and then twist it round like this. And then this is just going to go into the holes just here. We've got 4 screw holes to put in. These are 2.6 by 6mm screws. I can't believe we've almost finished. I'm actually getting emotional. I think this has been my favourite build on the channel. Because it's looking so good. I'm getting the shaky voice. You can always tell. Because I know that we're so close to the end now, just this. And I know we've got to do the accessories and stuff, but come on, let's face it. This is the heart of the whole build. And I am praying, after doing all of this, that it works. Perhaps I should have tested the electrics. I've got faith in what I've done. Okay, so that's those in. Back onto our normal camera again, because I've got these 2 parts to put in now. Now again, these are going to be secured into place with glue. Just going to see how they fit. They go over the top there. So number 1 goes with number 1. Number 2 goes with number 2. But I will just glue these into place. Now these are actually just pushing in. They're going to fit in here just like this. So once I've got them lined up, that's 1 and 1 this side. Perfect. They want me to glue them, but I don't think I need to glue them in, to be honest with you. I've shut the front, so you can see they've shut. The magnets are holding them in. Turning him round, because I've just got the back section to put in now. That's just looking like this. Again, they want me to glue these tabs, but I think they're going to fit in quite tight. Let's have a look. I think I will glue that in afterwards, because it's lifting a bit there, but it needs to just go down a touch more. But as you can see, that is Optimus for Prime complete. So we are now in a position to test all the electrics. And there you go. I have put him on a Lazy Susan so you can see what he looks like all the way around. Now obviously the battery pack gets covered by this section here. I'm just going to make sure he's turned on now, because he is powered now. But that is what Optimus Prime is looking like. Check that out. Right, it's time to test the electrics. I'm going to open these doors and open this so we can see the matrix inside. I can leave it like that, I think. Okay, it's on. This is the remote control. So to turn the remote control on, from what I've read, we press this button here. And well, the remote's working because it's lit up. Now, the top one with the eye there is the eyes. Hooray, something works. So the eyes have just turned on. And then if I press it again, they've got that sort of fade effect. And if I press it again, they blink. If I press it again, they blink faster. If I press it again, they go off. Alternatively, I can turn them on, and then you've got this one here next to it, which just turns them straight off. Okay, what else we got? Lights. That's the headlights on there. Let me just make sure that they're on there. 1, 2. There we go. That's the headlights all working. That's all good. So we've got lights down the bottom here. There you go. That's those on. And I believe I was watching Lou's video. If I press it again, it's like indicators going on. So they work perfect as well. Okay, the matrix of leadership. Let's try that. That's there. If I press this button, there we go. That's lit up. And now we've got the talking, I guess. So if I press this button, I think this is the transform button. Did you hear that? I can keep pressing that till the cows come home. Now these black buttons, I believe, are speech.
Greetings, people of Earth.
Look, his mouth's moving.
I am Optimus Prime. More than meets the eye. The Autobots need your help to defeat the Decepticons. Let's roll. Always a hero.
I can keep his eyes static while he's talking if I wanted to.
I am Optimus. Greetings from Cybertron. Freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Autobots, roll out. Survival of the strongest.
Okay, and then I believe this one's going to play the theme tune. So I'm going to try and talk over it so I don't get copyright strikes. I might stop this really quickly. There you go. So as you can hear, it's playing the theme tune, and I'm just demonstrating the theme tune. So I'm going to stop it now so I don't get copyright striked. But there you go. Look, everything's working. That's absolutely brilliant. I like how when he's talking, I can change the way his lights are. So they're static. Or I can have them like that. Flashing. Or if I turn them off, sorry. Let's turn them off. They go on like that with the voice. Entirely up to you how you have it. Pressing that button turns them off. But that is a finished model. I absolutely love that. So this has got to be the thumbnail, hasn't it? So I think if I have him, I don't know, I'll figure it out. I'll figure out the thumbnail afterwards. But I'm glad it works. I'm going to edit this now. The total recording time, just so you know, is 4 hours. It's taken 4 hours to complete the model. That means it's going to take all... Well, I don't even want to think about the editing time. Definitely my favourite build I'm doing. We have still got the stand to come, and I've still got the accessories to do. So I'm probably going to bundle them into a box 13 video. But we do have the parts here already. But if you do want to get this for yourself, it's available for Agora models, and the link's in the video description. There's also a QR code on the screen. But I really hope you like that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.